Here we go again. It's the Jim and Martin show. It hasn't snowed that much up here since we left, oh, what was it, 5 weeks ago? So, fortunately, somebody else drove in on the old trail, and, well, Bonnie, don't look, we're putting the old Outback through its test, but got good tires, and with a nice high ground clearance, we're doing good. Things are working out well. Got all the way in. How much pie you got there, Jim?
Only half, because I split my other half with you.
I just wanted to get on record that you said I could have that half. I didn't want to get any flack later. So.
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay. All right. We're doing good, folks. Bonnie, your Outback's good. I know we pushed a little snow on the way in, but by golly, it worked well. Brr. I think I'll stay outside. It's colder in the cabin right now. Only about 0 Fahrenheit in there, so got the wood stove going though. Get the chill off pretty quick. The morning before Jim and I arrived at the cabin, it was about minus 40 in the area. Well, it had warmed up to, a few degrees above 0 Fahrenheit by the time we got there late in the afternoon, but that cabin was still really cold inside, and of course all the walls and everything in there are still down there around really frigid temperatures. So we got the stove going and the air was feeling pretty good in there, but you can see that as we went to bed, I still got my good sleeping bag out and kind of was using my deep winter outside sleeping arrangement of a balaclava over my head and an extra hat. If you look up by the light there, all that frosty stuff, that's because it was still frozen solid in there. But we made it out till the next morning, and by that time the cabin was getting pretty toasty. Before we continue with our February cabin trip, I want to back up a little bit and give a little better explanation of what that last video was about when people saw pictures of my hand wrapped up and everything else. Now, I didn't want to scare anybody, but I did have a little fun there with the thumbnail and the clickbait title. Well, what really happened there now, and now I can tell you because I'm off the drugs they gave me during surgery, so I'll probably make a little bit more sense. My problem was called Dupuytren's contracture. Dupuytren's contracture is a problem that mine's been growing for 20 years. And you see that hand, the way it's the fingers are kind of curled up a little bit there, my pinky finger, and basically the fascia in the hand thickens and becomes so thick and hard that you can no longer flex your hand out straight again. Well, my big problem was I couldn't even swat a mosquito. They kept escaping as I tried to slap because my hand was so cuffed. So I elected to finally, after 20 years of it growing and getting worse, I elected it was time. And so I had the surgery. I wore that really big bandage for about 13 days. And then that bandage was so big and it was like a club that I could do things with my fingers, and so I could get a lot done, but I had to leave the chainsaw and all the chopping alone, and I knew I had to. So I disciplined myself, and I took it easy, and I had some projects I'd saved working on videos, so I had plenty to do. When they finally took the bandage off, this is what the hand looked like, and you can see there was 4 or 5 inches of a big zigzag cut as he cut in there and folded things back and got that thickened fascia cut out of there. And I had to take it easy because when they took that off, obviously I wasn't going to start swinging the axe right with the way that thing looked, and I wanted it to heal up better. So I took another 8 or 9 days of complete rest before I started doing anything, but then we headed for the cabin and I was ready to go. Got a little vent hole here in the cabin. 27 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. Nice and toasty inside now, but got some steam coming out. Our first morning was minus 27 degrees Fahrenheit, and if you look closer you can even see that the Canada Jay's eyebrows are frosted up. We been out tromping the trails, and this is our new little pets here. It's been a hard year for birds here in the Northland in the forest because of probably a failed cone crop, and these little red-breasted nuthatches have been coming in, and I had some peanuts and I crushed them up. Well, they're having a gay old time with that. There's 3 of them. One comes in, whoa, kind of nice. They kind of chew me out too. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was I had a company send me something. So this is a paid promotion. I won't make any apologies for it because it's something that I could really use. And this Ogupa company sent me a hand warmer to try out. Well, obviously they want me to, check it out, and since it's worked out really well, I really want to talk about it. This hand warmer will stay warm up here for, even in the really cold, 5 to 8 hours. They say maybe 12 hours or more, but the colder it is, obviously, the more energy it has to use up to have the body warm. Now, if you watch me a lot, I sit around a lot with no hat, no gloves on. So, Martin, what do you need a hand warmer for? Well, I got to tell you, when it drops down to minus 29 Fahrenheit and you're out messing around, it's really nice to have this in my pocket. I can turn it on. Got 3 different heat settings on it. Gets out nice and hot. You can just get that little bit of a break from the cold. But probably the bigger use I have for it is when I'm out birding and I have some devices with me like an MP3 player. Well, when they get so cold, they just quit working. So what I've been able to do is I've been able to use the hand warmer, and I can put it, that is my little sack that I carry these things in, and I can put that hand warmer in there along with the different electrical devices I have, my camera and such, and it keeps them warm enough that even if it's getting down near that minus 40, my devices will last that much longer. And if I need to, one really nice thing about this device is it's also a portable battery source. You can see here it has 2 USB ports coming out and the big one going in. And one of the ports that you can charge it with is the Type C, and that takes that different little connector that charges twice as fast. And so this will charge up in like 3 hours time out here, which is really handy. Come in for a long lunch, I can have it powered back up again. Now out here with my off-grid system, I powered up. I've got what we used to call cigarette lighter, now they're called power outlets. And it's got that USB cord fits in there on that Type C. So I just plug that in and I plug it into my power source inside the cabin. I can keep this thing charged up and ready. It's not just for me either. I've been out, like with Drone Man David, and he's overworking that drone and that camera, and his hand's getting really cold. Well, I'll turn this on and I'll hand it to him, and he can get his hands warmed up. Cabin partner Jim was sleeping out here at Christmas time. He's talking about how cold he was getting, like in the night. And I said, here, take this out there. So what he'd do is in the night he'd turn it on, and he's laying there. He'd stick it under his armpit, and it really helped just bring his body temperature up. So these are, we think of these as just a hand warmer, but they're a warmer that can be used in so many more things. And it's really nice having it that it's also power storage. So if you were out with a cell phone that was going dead on you, you can just plug your cell phone in and put some life back in that too. So anyway, but this is the Ogupa hand warmer. This is the 10,000 version. This is a little bit bigger, so it's got a lot longer battery life. Little button on here to hold it down for 3 seconds and 5 seconds, and then you've got 3 power settings, 3 different heat levels. Then if you just punch it, there's a different color lights up on it, and that tells you how your battery's doing. So I can't say enough. This little gadget here, this little Ogupa hand warmer, really working well. I'm glad they sent it to me. goal is to get these little guys eaten out of our hands before we go. Just like my Canada jays, there's three different red-breasted nuthatches here, and they've all got a little different temperament. This must be like the one that he's most adjusted to us. The other one, well, there's three. I see them flying around. They'll be coming in a second. Some of them just sit up there and chatter. They just soon I step away and give them more space. But really neat having them around. I think we're going to be able to have them eaten out of our hand before long. See? It must be cold. Martin's got gloves on and a hat. Not that bad though. I just checked. 12 degrees. 12 above centigrade. No, 12 below centigrade. 12 above Fahrenheit. We'll get this straightened out. The 12s match up, only the wrong side of polarity. So, anyway, the wagon train's here. New tractor room we're in to try out. We'll get to that later. Chess. We're going up in the world. Jim's going to teach me how to do chess. They've been hauling them peanut chunks away all morning. They're probably packed into some trees someplace. These are Canada jays right now, but they have been hitting that chicken pretty hard this morning. Probably softened up just a little bit. They got some yesterday, but they didn't seem to be real ambitious about pecking off that so solid a hunk of chicken. We knew the polar vortex was getting near the end of its life, so we kind of holed up for a couple days. Now, sitting out here, getting our winter tans.
Yeah. And sunburn. Hey, you know what we're due for? Some of those pies that Vonnie makes.
They're on the stove warming up, my boy. Got some tea water heating up.
Yeah, good.
See, we're kind of a team here. Had him working pretty good out there, and I thought he could probably use a raspberry pie, so
Raspberry.
I got myself an apple, and I got him a world famous Bonnie's apple pie. Put him in a little cast iron pan on top of the stove to get him just really nice and warm. Go in and get a nice fresh pot of green tea. We'll move on to our afternoon play.
Yep. Got some trails ahead. I gotta hit that beaver pond. It'll be fun. Be nice and warm out there.
Too warm, maybe.
Yeah. Nothing's too warm. After the last couple of days, it'll feel good. It got cold out here. Come here, buddy. I like the dishwater.
Yeah, those little morsels in the dishwater got them occupied. Yeah, when I finished the dishes, I took the water and dumped it out there.
Right again, Jim. He's over with the water again. Oop.
Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here.
Must have had some good scraps in that wash water.
Well, I know there's some corn in there.
Well, they don't like corn.
Corn and beans. Look at that.
He's got something. Whoop. His buddy wants it. One picked up a nice morsel and the second one chased after him.
For those of you watching this, very peaceful. You hear the birds every once in a while, but it's definitely nice out here. They eat too much of that, they're going to get their mouth washed out with all the soap. My parents used to do to me when I was a kid. Come here. Come here, buddy.
Come on down. Okay. You won't bite.